We're so close, but we're not quite there. I thought today would be the day we'd get all of this Xbox news, that Phil Spencer would pull back the curtain, reveal all the secrets about what's going on with Xbox games. Are they all going to come across to PS5, the Nintendo Switch, or what's going on? Unfortunately, we got the typical modern corporate thing where we got the announcement of the announcement. We're going to find out this news supposedly on Thursday, Feb 15th, depending on where you live in the world, and it's going to be a bit of a podcast. We're going to have the big cheeses at Xbox, at least in the gaming division, of Phil Spencer himself, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty sitting around the couch and spilling all the secrets, revealing all. So it is coming, but again, the announcement of the announcement. We'll have to wait a few days. And if we really want to think about it, last week we actually got the announcement of the announcement of the announcement. So it's all full circle. It's just great how all of this works. Now, heaps of rumors still continue to do the rounds around sort of what's going to be said. The first clue here is, given you've sort of got all the main Xbox people at the event, the copers who were saying, oh, they're just going to announce that Hi-Fi Rush is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and that's about it. I don't think that's going to be the case. You would assume this is going to be a 50, 60-minute conversation or something, and it's going to be somewhat big. They've got to be talking about something to fill that time in. It can't just be game announcements. You would have to say, I assume they're going to talk about maybe some titles coming to other platforms. There's rumors of a Nintendo Direct actually that exact day, and that might reveal Hi-Fi Rush for the Switch, and then these guys will talk about it, what that means for Xbox and the supposed longer-term plans. I'm still sticking to my prediction, which is internally Xbox have made the decision to basically go with everything third party. So going forward, pretty much all their games will come to the PS5. They'll continue coming to Steam. If you're on PC like me, they'll probably go to the Switch too whenever that comes out, and most of their games will go there that can run on the console. However, I don't think they're going to spill the beans entirely at this event. Their aim, their goal is still going to be, how can we deliver this news, but make sure we don't lose current Xbox players? We want our cake and to eat it too. We want people, fans of Sony, to buy our games on their platform, but we can't just lose everyone on Xbox right now. They've probably got longer-term console plans, the cloud, all of that sort of crap. But for now, they need to keep getting their 30%. If you buy a game, you spend money on a microtransaction, God help you if you're someone who does that. They want to keep getting that money, so they're not just going to allow that to dry up by giving everyone the facts and saying, hey, we've kind of lost confidence in the Xbox brand, we're going to move everything to other platforms. They're not going to come out and say it. They're going to make us kind of read between the lines. If you get sucked in, if you keep building up your library on Xbox, keep buying their games, don't be surprised if one day you realize, hang on, pretty much all the other game developers, they're not bothering to port any of their games to Xbox because everyone started to move away. They're playing on the PC, they're playing on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 6. They don't care about the Xbox anymore. There's no point porting games there. That's the real issue here. The people who talk about, oh, it doesn't matter if Xbox put their games elsewhere. If you like the platform, you can still play on it. Who cares? The issue really is that if Xbox doesn't have the exclusives, over time, people, at least with a brain, will realize, well, there's no point me building my library there. I might as well go elsewhere, play my games there, where I can get the Xbox games, plus the Sony exclusives, or the indie titles on Steam, for instance, that Xbox might be lacking. Now, from a me, the customer perspective, this news does not affect me. I don't really care. If what I'm thinking is going to happen, Xbox are going to go third party. They're going to reveal this news very, very slowly, only when they feel like saying something. So for instance, when Indiana Jones is coming to the PS5, they'll reveal that as late as they can. They're not going to let us know about it now, most likely. They're going to wait, and they'll do that for most of their games until it becomes really obvious that everything is going across to other platforms. They don't want to rip the band-aid off. They're going to avoid that if they can. For me, it doesn't matter. I mainly play on PC, but long term, I do think about the ramifications of Microsoft, Xbox, they own all these IPs. Some of them I really like. If you dig deep into the catalog, there are heaps of really old school IPs that they now own. I was thinking about one, Gabriel Knight. I love that series. Most people probably don't care about that, but I just look up all these little IPs from many, many years ago, and it just kind of scares me that if Xbox become a third party and they start thinking, well, we only care about chasing money right now because we don't care about selling a console, do they just go full-on live service with absolutely everything? They stop caring about single player, it's all about microtransaction battle passes. That'd be pretty sad, and I wouldn't be totally surprised if it goes that way. So some part of me, while it's funny to laugh at Xbox fanboys, it does scare me if this is the big third-party publisher, maybe even the biggest. What is that going to mean for gaming? That might not be so good. I like competition in the gaming space, even on PC, as much as I love Steam right now, and it's pretty good to me. Things could change down the track. It's quite a shame that Epic is so incompetent and don't seem to care about their customers. They've had an approach of, we'll take care of the devs, but we'll give the middle finger to the paying customers. It's quite a strange approach, but we'll find out very soon what's going on with Xbox. Only a few days away, unless the podcast is literally a live stream of like a whiteboard that says, tune in again in a week's time. We swear we'll tell you all about it then. Don't lose interest in us. Don't sell you Xbox. But I do want to talk about something else today as well, because we don't often get Starfield news these days. People have stopped playing. They don't care about the game. The proof is in the pudding here. We can see that Starfield has lost 97% of its Steam players in less than 6 months. Now, if you are someone who is still coping and you still think that, oh no, Starfield's incredible, it's this loud minority online who just can't handle it, let me tell you this. It is different for Starfield than your average single-player game. Yeah, it makes sense that, say, a Hogwarts Legacy, even something like an Elden Ring, people play it when it comes out, they really enjoy it, and then they stop because you finish it. It's a single-player game. It's not endless. It's not your cash grab live service. That's fine. However, with Bethesda games, it was always seen as a bit different because they had the modding scenes, or the games themselves, often like sandboxes. You could make your own fun. They always have had very high consistent player numbers. And to give you a bit of an example, we can see here that right now Skyrim has nearly 20,000 players online as of this moment. 20,000 people are playing. That's really good. Even Fallout 4 has nearly 13,000 players. It's doing pretty well too, in the 5 figures. Whereas Starfield, it is much lower. There's 4,600 or so people in-game right now, and that's quite a drop. Even when people were clowning on it, it was still doing reasonably well. Even with the criticism, people were still giving it a chance, maybe getting through their playthrough, even though they were probably completely sick of it, and it was just sunk cost fallacy at that point. They were thinking, get through it, move on, I'm never touching this piece of crap ever again. That was probably the mindset of a lot of people, given the negative reviews. I think it's mixed at the moment. Starfield fans were calling that a big win. Oh, the recent reviews, they're not mostly negative anymore. They've moved to mixed. Things are looking up. Woohoo! That's the mind of the average Starfield fan. But 4,600 players, so that's about a quarter of the amount of people who are playing Skyrim right now. And if I was playing devil's advocate, I could say, well, Skyrim's had years and years to develop mods, new experiences, that's why people come back to it. But the difference here is Starfield just did so poorly, at least in the mind of players, that the modders are probably never going to come. There aren't professional tools yet for Starfield, the modding scene, and they may come maybe in the next few months. But even still, why is someone who is capable of modding Skyrim going to move over to Starfield? They're not going to bother, because the foundation is just such garbage. There's no real world to explore because of the loading screens, because of the dog shit decisions that Todd and the team made to make it about 1 billion planets that you have to go to, procedurally generated. There's no cohesive world like you find in Skyrim and Fallout 4. And that's what people got drawn to. It's much easier to develop mods for those sandbox worlds because creatively you can do just about everything. You're really constricted with Starfield because of the way it was designed. What's the point? What has Starfield actually got even if you ignore the design problems right now. If you just went into Starfield and made a mod on just one planet, and you tried to make a mod that sort of takes you back to the glory days of the Elder Scrolls and Fallout, even if someone was thinking of doing that, why would they even bother? What is the reason? Because I've seen that thrown around that modders are going to fix Starfield. If someone's capable of doing that, why don't they just put their mod in Skyrim? There's no difference. The visuals in Starfield are not really that much better than, say, the special edition of Skyrim. It's pointless, so I really don't think it's going to happen. There'll be some mods in Starfield because it might be a nice new challenge for people to build something brand new, or even just take the types of mods that are already in Skyrim and move them into Starfield. There might be a little bit of that, but I don't think it's really going to grow these player numbers. I don't think in 10 years' time, we're going to see 15,000 people on Starfield, regardless of the mods that get added. It's a dead game. It's going to continue dying. Even if they port it to PlayStation, I think PlayStation fans are thinking, hey, we already dodged that bullet. You didn't saddle us with Starfield on release, and Phil Spencer, thank you. Thank you, you saved us. We could move on to something else. Like maybe Spider-Man that came around at the same time. And I mention that not by coincidence, because there was quite a funny exchange I found on this gaming forum, where after this news broke that 97% of players have moved on from Starfield, someone said here, totally normal for most single-player games. People will move on and will come back to the games once DLC launches. I bet you could do this for most games that aren't something huge like a Game of the Year winner, such as Baldur's Gate 3, basically saying that any single-player game that you look at, it's going to lose players. Well, hang on, my friend, because that was already disproven, because if we compare Starfield to other Bethesda games, Starfield was just losing out massively. Skyrim, 15-year-old games got more players. I think even New Vegas, that probably doesn't have the mods to the same extent as a Skyrim, that still got something like 3,000 players playing the game right now. It's not really far off. Starfield's doing really badly given it's only sort of 6-7 months old. But the funny thing is this same person who's saying it's totally normal, there's nothing wrong with Starfield, this is all part of the plan. 6 months ago, around the time, just before Starfield came out and people didn't realize it was a pile of garbage, they liked this post where someone said Spider-Man 2 will be played for 1 month. Starfield will be played for a decade. This person liked the post. They were excited. They were thinking, yes, Starfield, it's going to be the next Skyrim. I'm so glad I bought an Xbox. It's all going wrong for some of these people. The Xbox seems to be dying. We're going to find out the news in a few days. Anyone who bought into it, I'm sorry to say, it doesn't look good. Starfield, what can you really say? It always seems to be bad news, embarrassing news. Things just go to bad for worse for that game. But I will say again, the Xbox news, I find it funny to laugh at, but I do hope there is competition in the industry. I don't want to see these conglomerate publishers who own absolutely everything, and we've got no choice. It's not a good thing, but for now, hopefully we get a bit of comedy. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.